being greeted by folks.
And actually, her tweet echoes the words of Al Gore when he conceded the election of 2000, when he said, "For the sake of our democracy, I offer my concession."
And our thoughts, of course, with President H.W. Bush.
And actually, her tweet echoes the words of Al
in
Gore when he conceded the election of 2000, when he said, "For the sake of our democracy, I offer my concession."
And our thoughts, of course, with President H.
We're very excited to hear that.
And obviously, the situation is such that President Bush can make this journey here this week.
When he said,
I'm sure they're watching.
"For the sake of our democracy, I offer my concession."
And our thoughts, of course, with President H.
We're very excited to hear that.
And obviously, the Capitol, where they'll go in. And the situation is such that President Bush can make this journey here this week.
When he said,
I'm sure they're watching.
"For the sake of our democracy, I offer my concession."
Current president now arriving at what is known as the carriage entrance. This is a practice that dates back, Lester, to 1837 with the current and soon-to-be president riding together in the same vehicle. Current president. It's worth noting that President Obama, of course, retains power now until the oath of office is given. There is, in fact, a skeleton staff at the White House right now. But this is the moment that we have been waiting for. They will arrive through the doors here, greeted by an inaugural committee, military cordon. There are Senate and House sergeants at arms who are here waiting for them. I see Michelle Obama closest to me and Melania Trump, soon to be First Lady, being directed around one of these vehicles here. They will go up these stairs and through the door. And this is a very finely timed event. They will go into holding rooms. Anyone who has ever been to the Capitol, who's taken a tour of the Capitol, there is a place in the center of it that has 13 statues representing the 13 colonies. It is called the Crypt. They will go in those holding rooms and wait for the symbol, the sign, to go out. But they're having a conversation right now. You can see the First Ladies together, getting some directions from people, also some pleasantries. They've worked closely with members of this inaugural committee and obviously the transition committee. They will go up the stairs, through the doors, down the hall, and once that hold is over, of course, the last person who will go out will be President-elect Donald J. Trump. He will walk down a set of 35 stairs. I walked it just the other day. There will be, right before he goes through the red curtains, a mirror that is hanging on the wall. A member of the inaugural committee said to me, that's the last checkpoint where he can see how he looks.
There's Pete Souza.
And then he will go to take the oath.
And here we see them entering inside the Capitol. President-elect Trump, President Obama.
Speaker Ryan.
Let's listen, see if we can pick up some of the conversations.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Are you going to reverse the immigration order in the next few days?
God bless our fellow colleagues here, getting that shouted question in.
Okay, Laura, we're moving.
But to the question, we are going to be looking for some reversals here in the next several days.
Don't expect it today. I find it somewhat unusual that they have talked that Monday should be viewed as the first real day of the presidency.
The Pences.
That they're not going to do this, quote, hit the ground running aspect today. There'll be a couple of orders, but it's really Monday that they're building towards.
One of the key aides, however, told me that he would not be surprised if they were challenged on the weekend in some form, economically or otherwise.
We can talk about the one challenge that everybody's concerned about, and that's that in North Korea, they are anticipating a test launch of some form soon.
Here are the Trump children. There's Ivanka and Tiffany and Donald Jr. and Eric Trump. Somber faces as they prepare to step out and watch their father become the next president of the United States.
And Barron there.
Was Barron? Yeah, Barron.
You know, Chuck was talking a moment ago about the possibility of a challenge from North Korea. We talked about the symbolic importance of a smooth transition, but one thing that's developed in recent years is that the old president and the new president and their people have national security exercises so that if, God forbid, something like this happens 1 minute after the oath taking, the new president and his staff will be a little bit more up to speed.
And these are post 9/11 reforms. You know, I was talking with Andy Card, who was the chief of staff for George W. Bush, and he was talking about they put in some new in order to make this transition smoother. And he said that the Obama administration sort of enhanced it even more. They did an exercise last week. It was basically both teams. They did a essentially practice emergency exercise, as you call, and that is a sobering moment for all of the advisors. That's the first time they feel the weight of what they're about to
As we look at the kids come in here, it's worth noting Ivanka Trump was asked point blank about whether she would serve as the pseudo first lady, and she shut that down very quickly.
And emphatically so, almost saying that's insulting.
Yeah, it had been talked about a lot. I think it's the first time she got to answer that. So she will have no official role in this White House. And there is the view. Hallie Jackson is got a great view looking onto that west front where all this is taking place. Hallie, what are you seeing?
Hi, Lester. We are just across from the view that you are showing now on a meteorizer filled with hundreds of journalists here to witness this. Just a little bit of color from the ground here. As people are watching on the monitors, every time they see a shot of, for example, the president-elect or his family, a big cheer goes up. There have been announcements now as each of the former living presidents has walked in, President Carter and then President Bush and President Clinton as well. I'll tell you that the senators who have gathered here on the platform are doing what a lot of folks in the crowd are doing, and that is picking up their phone and taking pictures and selfies. Lester?
Okay, and here I believe it's the first time the public is seeing the Trump children. I believe they're about to walk out into the public view. There they are. And you can hear that applause. Let's listen.
See, even the chief of staff is doing photos there. That's pretty.
One of the folks I interviewed this week is texting me from the crowd. He said there were polite cheers for Hillary Clinton when she walked out from the Trump supporters gathered on the Mall. It's a nice sentiment.
And which leads to one of the questions I wanted to ask later on, but let's ask it now. Would you expect, as President Trump, to name her in his speech? And
he should. I would hope so. He has
branch.
nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying to grow his support by being gracious.
But I'm sorry.
Nothing to lose.
I'm shocked that they haven't had a private meeting.
Right, and they
lunch,
used to know each
coffee.
other. I mean,
this is, that's right, she went to his wedding.
Yeah.
This is, I think, the biggest mistake he made during the transition.
Yeah.
Look, she may not have wanted to do it, but there's no way she could have turned down that invitation from the president-elect. His decision, the fact that they haven't done it yet, I just think was
keep in mind,
as a mistake.
Keep in mind, he never fully closed the door on prosecuting her. He said, it's not something we're to deal with now. But remember, he'd thrown that out before the election. And
well, it is. I'm glad to hear that about the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't, I think there was we were discussing earlier, would the crowd, how would the crowd, would it feel like a Trump campaign rally? Would we start hearing some chants that we'd gotten used to during the campaign? And my feeling is no. I think I don't care who you are as an American citizen, you walk into this Capitol this week and democracy is just raining on you.
Yeah.
And you start thinking as an American, not as a partisan.
And Nicole, I don't know if you heard this, but when I was touring the country, and one woman said it so articulately. She is against Donald Trump. She was for Clinton, but she said, I hear all this, not my president. She goes, he is my president.
Yeah, we all.
She says, I've got to root for my president to succeed.
And where you hear that is in the military. And Donald Trump did really well among military families and among veterans, but he didn't win them all. But they have to live that. They don't get to just say it. The rest of us get to say it. They have to live with this man as their commander-in-chief. And so it really is. I know people that say it, mean it, and they are really still hurting. They feel despondent about the outcome, but it's not a particularly productive sentiment.
Yeah, and there is some of the crowd. A lot of folks. I know the Park Service and others they don't like to get into the crowd counting business. I think there was talk of anywhere from 700,000 to 900,000 to come and witness this. There are protests in various parts of town. There were threats to.
We'll get a crowd estimate from somebody.
Somebody will get.
I think Donald Trump.
I think
Are
the
you guys
president.
kidding me?
That's who I was. That's who I was referring to, Nicole. We'll get an official estimate, perhaps from the podium.
We may get some new poll numbers, you guys. A report on how we're doing in the coverage of the event. I mean, he's still Donald Trump.
Katie Tur is down in the crowd right now as we look. I think it was Eric Trump. Katie, what is the mood down there like that? People have been staked out for a while.
Yeah, they've been here for quite a while, and they're covered in ponchos. They're wearing hats. They're cold, but they're clearly very excited. You know, I was wondering as well what the reaction would be when Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton walked down. And while there wasn't a large cheer in the same way there was for George W. Bush, there was not anybody who was jeering in any way at Hillary Clinton. They said to me that they believe that this